Hey friends, so today I want to ask about prayer of service. How do I serve? Who do I serve? So here's what the Word of God says. This is John 13. It says, Jesus got up from the supper and laid aside his garments, and taking a towel, he girded himself. And then he poured water in a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel which he was girded. So he came to Simon Peter, and Peter says what Peter says, and you can read the passage. But then he goes on to say, so verse 12, when he had washed their feet and taken the garments, he had reclined at table again and asked them, do you know what I've done to you? So there's one of those questions that God asks that's really fascinating. You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. If then the Lord and teacher washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I gave you an example that you should do as I did to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a slave is not greater than his master, nor is one who is sent greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. So it's a really interesting passage that there's something about Jesus came to die and to die on the cross and give us life and life abundantly. And then he says, I want you to sacrifice and do likewise. So my question is, okay, how? How do I do this? He gave us this great example, but there's too many people. If I were to wash everyone's feet, whom are the ones that are important? Is it just my household? Is it just my city? Is it just my next door neighbor? Is it not my city and it's somebody else's city? How do I know? So I guess there's two things to mention about this before we move on. That we're sent out with the Word of God, the very sword of the Spirit, and knowing the Word, knowing the truth is so vital. But we're sent out to love, to be harmless and blameless and gentle and lowly. And so there's really two images of the gospel, is the sword of the Spirit and a cup of cold water, or the sword of the Spirit and a towel. And so how do we love others? That's a really fascinating question. So I want to just ask that, God, who do you want to love? And one of the things that the former president of Nova, Megan's mission organization, says, he'd go to a gym, and on the way to the gym or at the gym, he'd ask God, who do you want me to talk to here, if anyone? And occasionally the Spirit would say, hey, go say something to this guy about me, or tell this man I love him, or something. But then I'm sure there would be other times where the Spirit would say something like, I got this. You can just work out. It's going to be okay. And what freedom to know, when do I have to be prompted by the Spirit and go and say something, and when can I just do my workout and go home and go about my day? Well, we ask God, and then we do what he says. And so today I want to pray, just whom would God have us to serve? As we're sent out with that cup of cold water, with the towel of service, Father, whom do you want me to serve with this cup of cold water, with this towel? Whom do you want me to love? And when do I stop? How long? How much? So just some interesting questions. Today is a prayer of service. Whom do you want me to serve? But then the clincher is this, I gave you this example. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. So somehow there's a blessing back to you as you serve others. So today's prayer prompt, who do I serve and how? And then what's the blessing that's in it for me? Although that's the wrong reason to do it. So just whom and how do you want me to serve? Bless you guys.